Okay, there you go. Okay, all right. Okay. Um, so actually, just for the people, because we actually do have some regular watchers now, guys. So good job.
No problem.
Um, Jim, introduce your character, and then we'll go to everybody else.
Hi, I'll be playing Aristos Bladesong, who is an elvish blade dancer. He mixes two-weapon fighting along with some elvish magic. He's a half elf actually, and he likes to fight and show up Feng.
Okay,
Try
Lloyd,
to.
you're next.
I'm Lloyd. I run the channel Jarl DM, and I'm playing Feng, who is a cocky five animals kung fu monk. He punches
Okay,
first, asks questions later.
okay, all right, Joe.
Okay, I am playing Elefon Wispin, a high elf wizard of the Alchemy Guild. He's rather haughty and sure of himself, and has a strange curiosity regarding humans and their short lifespan, and wants to learn more about how they can accomplish so much in such a short span of time.
Okay, all right, cool. Okay, so like I was saying, you guys are in the High Elven City right now, and uh, you guys had a brief. Well, actually, you haven't met been presented to the Elven King yet. Inioch is his name. Um, but you have heard whispers, and actually, Wispin knows for sure that the king actually he wants the lore shards that you guys have, and rumor has it that the king wants Wispin and his father to actually figure out a way to bind these lore shards to a crown that he wears. Okay, why we don't know yet. Um, and while this has been going on, uh, as you guys have been at the city, you've heard and actually seen signs of other representatives of the Fey Courts that have been arriving at this city, which is really a rare and crazy occasion. This never happens, you know. Um, and also, rumor has it that each of these Fey representatives, each of their factions, as it were, are each demanding possession of the shards. There's Shadow Elves from the Winter Court, from the far north. There's the self-proclaimed Wild Elf King that you guys met before. He's actually there of the Summer Court. They actually came in through the gate. And then there's an uninvited guest. There's a human by the name of Iaz Ut, and he is the one who claims to know of you, Fang. Okay, and who he represents, we aren't sure of yet. Okay,
Hmm.
uh, so we will start off where the uh, polished and engraved doors to the Elven Court are being silently swung open, and you guys walk in a procession. There's the three of you, you know, Aristos, Fang, and Wispin. There's also Wispin's father, Evelios, and then there's also um, Aristos's mother. She's there as well. And actually, I didn't write her name down, but I'll get it. So she's there as well. Um, and
Um, Sorry,
hmm?
quick question. Are we
Hmm.
using the Fate Roller or Dice Stream?
Let's keep using Dice Stream.
Okay, let me go back to
Or
that then.
yeah, yeah, that's fine with you guys.
All right, no problem. Sorry, go ahead.
All right. So like I said, we have Inioch, we have Evelios, who's Wispin's father, and I don't know why. Here we go. How do you pronounce it, Jim? Nisiri? Nisiri?
Yes,
Okay,
that's
Nasiri.
it.
Okay, Nasiri Blade Song. Okay,
Nasir.
Nasir. Okay,
Nasir.
okay, it's I-E, Niser. Okay, The Seer Blade Song. Who is Aristos's mother? Manipulative mother. Okay. All right. And you guys are dressed in your finery. Like I said, you guys are a part of a procession that is brought into the actual throne room itself, and you can see the Elven Court is to either side of the stone path that you guys are walking on, going towards the throne, which is in front of you. To either side, you see other Elven nobility of sorts, and within the crowd towards the front, you guys get a glimpse of the winter court on one side and the summer court on the other side, and they kind of give you, not too pleasant of acknowledgments. The Wild Elf King gives you guys a nod as you guys walk up, but the Shadow Elf representative, who is a female Shadow Elf, that's of man. She's actually a good 6 feet tall, very lithe looking, dressed in typical black and red Shadow Elf attire, and you see that her skin is just like almost like alabaster. Okay. Wispin, what are you wearing?
He's wearing actually he'll wear a traditional robe of his original um, alchemy guild.
Mm-hmm.
With I don't know. I guess various elvish style, I guess, to it. Kind of something, which is what? I guess just a lot of kind of over exaggerated pieces to it, like like the shoulders may have something that's overly exaggerated as it kind of drapes over the side. He has like on his on the wrist portion of the sleeves actually has a portion that kind of drapes over the top of his hand, which is actually that's something that's for him would be used to basically almost like a splash guard for like when he's doing stuff with his.
Okay, all right, okay.
And then he has like his kind of like in his picture where he has the two clasps on his lapel, I guess. With the elvish symbol stating his station within the guild.
Okay, all right. And then what is Aristos? How is he dressed?
Have I had a chance to get back to my my own lands and change?
Yeah. Oh yeah. This isn't immediately. Yeah, you guys have had a little time to clean up and talk and everything else.
All right. Well, I'll have on just a kind of a puffy shirt, along with my cape and my brooch of standing in the blade dancers. It's a stylized cross blades with a great blade going through the two of them. It's just a small little clasp.
Okay.
And I'm not dressed. I'm not armored up or anything. I'm trying to relax. But basically, his clothing is blousy. As the elves are kind of that's what they wear here. Kind of blousy clothing.
Okay. And then Lloyd, what about Feng?
He's not much for ceremony, so he'd probably just wear loose trousers, probably a shirt, but definitely no sleeves. He wants to be able to move, and just in case He's always prepared in case shit gets real. So he doesn't really dress in ceremonial clothes. It's always functional.
Okay. All right. So that's the what you guys see on the screen is the kind of like the throne room. Everything is highly polished, marbleized, and everything. Um, there's like I said, a crowd to either side, and if you guys can just imagine, uh, you guys are walking, up the middle path, so to speak, towards the throne itself. As you guys get about halfway, Aristos and Wispin, your parents, kind of peel off to the side, and you guys are left to continue on your way. And also, before we get any further, I would have to say that Royce actually not wanting to be part of this pomp and circumstance has actually relinquished the shards, and because you guys had 3, correct? Right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'm pretty
I
sure it
think
was
so.
3. Yeah. Okay. He actually gave them to you guys, each of you, so each of you has a shard in your possession, and it's in a small, like a small box of sorts, that's closed, that has a lid to it that you would open up, kind of like an intricate carving, kind of like a container. Okay. All right. So you guys march up or walk up to the foot of the dais, where the throne is, a little bit up above, and sitting, lounging in the throne in front of you is King Inioch. Okay. And let's see, do I have a picture of the good king? I thought I did. Oh wow, thought I did.
He looks like a woman.
Right. Yeah, I know. I got to be careful about that. You guys dog out my NPCs so much.
This guy's a
There he
nerd.
is. Right. There he is.
I want to punch him.
Right. I want to kick his butt. Okay, I got him. Okay, there's Inioch. There he is. All right, there's Inioch. Okay. All right. So
Okay.
that's him. Okay. All right. So as you guys get there, he kind of gives you a low nod as he basically looks you up and down, and in a calm, low, almost quiet voice, but it still seems to carry forth from his chest. He looks at you and then kind of waves his hand towards you, and he says, "Present yourselves before me, one at a time."
Okay.
I step forward and bow appropriately, and say that I say, "Yes, my king." I say, "I am Elefon Wispin of the Alchemist Guild, and I come here to present to you one of the Lore Shards." And I hold it out, and of course, me and my crazy kind of way, I let's see, which spell is it? There's one of these spells. Basically, I'll let it basically kind of like float over to him, basically, assuming I have my unseen servant with me and have him carry it to him.
Okay. All right. You see that a guardsman rushes over and pretty much puts himself in between the case and the king as it floats towards him, and he grabs it, and he moves it over to the side of the throne and then gets down on one knee, and as the crowd kind of gasps, and presents the box in both hands towards the king with his head down, and he turns and sneers at you, at Wispin, and kind of hisses at you like,
Give him a
okay.
withering look.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Careful with that.
The king, he kind of lazily kind of reaches down and flicks the box open and leans up and sees the shard inside and kind of grabs it with his 2 fingers, and kind of holds it up, and he kind of looks at it and turns it around, and then he puts it back in the box, and then he looks at you guys again and he says, "Next."
I'll continue to stand where I am and incline my head and say, "Feng."
Don't do that.
He raises an eyebrow.
That's it.
Kick him
Arm
in the
across.
Okay.
Quick nod. That's it.
Oh, okay, all right. He kind of gives you, it kind of smiles, a slight smile on his face, and the guardsman stands, and he looks at the king, and then he walks over to you, and he, where's the box at? Is it in your hand, or how do you?
Yeah, I think it would be definitely in my hands.
Okay, he attempts to snatch the box out of your hand.
Bad idea.
Yeah, well, knowing how
Feng
Feng is, I just didn't want to say he snatches it, so that's
Right.
why I'm giving you the chance to do what you want to do. So yeah, you see he reaches towards the box, and he has a look of contempt, like human,
Yeah. How big is the box?
It's just like almost like a cell phone size,
Oh, sure. Okay.
But yeah,
Well,
it's small. It's not that big.
What I'll do then is, as he reaches, I will flick it up into the air
Mhm.
and then catch it with my other hand.
Okay. All right. Okay. So he looks like an idiot because he
Great,
grabs it
yeah.
and misses it, and then he looks, back up at you, and he snarls pretty much and says, "Relinquish the stone, fool."
And then with an incredibly overdramatic bow, sweeping bow, I'll present it to him.
Okay. I can't think of the name. He's kind of like an intermediary, a regent maybe, or it's not really the right name.
Viceroy?
Viceroy. Okay, I'll go with
Maybe.
that. Okay. Yeah, I
If
will
he's
go
a
with that.
political figure.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Is that who you presented to, or do you present it directly to the king?
To the king.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So the viceroy, he steps back and he looks at the king for, acknowledgement, as he seems to always do, and the king kind of sighs, this is such a waste of time, and he waves his hand, and the viceroy picks the box up and once again presents it to the king, and the king nods at it, or looks at it, leans to look at it, and then lounges back in his chair again, and then his eyes rest upon Aristos.
Well, all right, I'll step forward and say, "I am at Aristos Bladesong, son of Nasir, stepson of Galadil, acolyte of the Order of Blade Singers, and bearer of the True Blades." And I'll kind of incline my head in a bow, but I won't fully genuflect. I'll kind of,
Okay.
and look
All right.
up.
Okay.
Definitely roll my eyes at the list of titles. Just ugh, this again.
Okay, the viceroy, he takes a step towards Aristos, and he actually gives you kind of like a little flourish, and he kind of steps to the side and motions towards the dais towards the king, and kind of looks at you and kind of gives you the head nod, like.
Okay, I'll move up slowly.
Yep.
And let's see what I can do to cause some trouble.
Okay, Wispin kind of folds his arm, "Are you serious?"
Okay.
Kind of looking like.
Okay, in my lore of being a blade dancer who our position is to protect these stones, retrieve them, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we giving these over to him?
Because he is your king.
I mean, is there anything that's been documented that's what happens if we find them, that we relinquish them, or does my order hold on to them?
Well, your order would be the ones to and did we ever decide what we were going to do, how we figured out through the narrative that the shards would be reabsorbed into the elven
The tree or whatever.
yeah, is there still like the tree of knowledge, so to speak?
That's what Joe said it is. So
okay, all right. So but also Joe, aka Wispin, was saying that the mages here were trying to figure out a way to basically read the stones and take the knowledge out of them, right, Joe?
Yeah, try to basically reinvigorate the stone so that.
Okay. So then, how would that go then, Joe? What would have to happen? What? I mean.
Well, I would say that a ceremony would have to take place involving all the stones.
Mm-hmm.
That would take as many days as there are stones.
Okay.
To accomplish, and that nothing should, if anything was to interfere with it, there's no telling what might actually happen if something was to break that.
Mm-hmm. And then just to kind of just to throw some more stuff out there, I remember reading was that it was also believed, if I'm not mistaken, or the mages here believe that the shards needed some type of focus or item that they had to be placed into in order to be able to discern what the knowledge that's on them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that could be anything from a brooch or a ring or a, whatever.
Crown.
Exactly, right? Okay, all right. So is the ceremony kind of just like a ritual, or is it a?
Yeah, it'd be a straight up ritual.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be just a straight up ritual. And since elves don't really need to sleep, but they do need to meditate.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it takes so long for us to do it.
Okay. All right. Okay. So going back then. Because actually, I guess we kind of just had a flashback to a certain degree. But getting back to the situation at hand, then Jim, the king to answer your question, Wispin has said that as far as he knows, that this ceremony needs to take place. Why the king wants to see the shards is unknown, but he commanded it. So who are you to deny him?
Well, because I will tell him that as an acolyte of the Order of Blade Dancers, it falls under my purview to keep the retained knowledge of the lore stones within our order and to bind them back to the Great Tree.
Okay, you hear a collective gasp from the crowd as a whole.
Said it.
Okay, and also. Where's it at here? Okay, there she is. Blah, 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 blah. Let me see something here. The king himself seems to find that quite amusing, but also, where is it at? Okay, here it is. From the, I guess it would be to your left, to Aristos's left, where the shadow elves are.
Mm-hmm.
You hear a voice say, "This is a absolute outrage," and you see movement out of the corner of your eye, and actually, Wispin and Feng, you guys can see that the shadow elf ambassador, so to speak, she's the one who said that, and you can see that she has kind of stepped forward, and her people that are with her are actually kind of like, no, please, my lady, step back, and she looks like she's almost in a rage as she's kind of glaring between Aristos and the king, and she says, the stones are to be shared between all of the court, not just here.
I say, hear, hear.
She kind of looks at Feng in surprise, and the viceroy, he turns to Feng, to you, and he looks daggers at you. He's like, and she says the blade dancers were entrusted in the past up to now to safeguard the stones, and they have failed. How can they be trusted again to this? Aristos?
Well, am I the only representatives of the order? Am I the only?
You are the one standing in front of the king, and the question is directed at you. And how you want to respond is up to you. You can say, "Hey, it's not my choice," or whatever, however you want to say it. You are the protagonist, so it's directed at you.
You claim that we failed in our duty. However, I will say that this is not the case.
Okay.
How do you explain our failure as an organization to safeguard the tree of knowledge? How can you say this?
She says, as you should know, she says, she kind of waves her hand over her shoulder. She says, the tree of knowledge here is not the only tree. She says, the shadow elves, my people, we are the ones that are the keepers of secrets. Therefore, we should be the ones to hold the knowledge. Not just one faction of elves, not just one court.
Well, the Order of the Blade Dancers was created millennia ago and encompasses all of the great houses, including the shadow elf, our shadow elf cousins.
She looks you up and down and takes a step towards you, and she kind of is like, yeah, she says it is always there has always been derision, not just between the blade dancers, but the courts. Meaning
my order does not play political games. We're not in it for political gains. So whatever politics are at play here have absolutely nothing to do with my order or our overall mission. Which is to reunite the knowledge of all elves, not just your individual house.
Okay, all right, very good. Okay, she laughs and looks towards the king, who's looking at this with some interest now, and she says, "I will not be spoken to by a lesser like this." She points at him, like,
At me?
At her. She points her finger at the king, and she says,
"Oh shit!"
Yeah, she says, if you hold on, hold on, Keith. I attack.
That's right.
She says, by the rights of my people and all the courts, she says, I have, upon my honor, I can speak such. It is written that the shadow elves, the keepers of secrets, are the ones that hold the lore and the knowledge safely the best. She looks at you and kind of points at you and looks at you up and down. Her words kind of dripping with kind of like sarcasm. She says, your best blade dancers here are nothing but pompous fools. She says, look at the puffy shirt he wears. He dresses like a woman. Like a tart. And she waves a hand at one of the retainers that is with her, and she says, "I have with me one of our own blade dancers." And you see that there's this shadow elf standing there, and he's in kind of like a bluish, kind of almost purple, actually looking type of armor, and he kind of looks like, yeah. And he kind of looks towards Aristos and kind of looks down his nose at you. You can tell he's got a little bit of maturity on you as well. But he does look capable. She says the reason that we're all here is because we could sense that the Lore Shards were being brought here, and as you well know, if we could sense it, others can as well. So the time is now.
Just like a shadow elf to drift in like a crow looking for a shiny after you've done no work at all.
She
I say
sputters.
perhaps you should crawl back into the hole that you crawled out of.
Oh my gosh. Okay. She sputters, and you see her eyes flash. And she looks like she's about to grab down for a weapon at her waist that is not there. And then she kind of realizes it, and she kind of just like grits her teeth, and her red eyes just like almost flash, and she turns back towards the king, and she says, "I demand that this pup be punished like the child that he is. How dare he speak to me like that?"
I'll say my companions and I are the ones that actually did the work in bringing the lore stones that we have here together. What have you done besides put forth venomous words and innuendo in this court?
And I add to that,
go ahead, Joe.
and I say, and to that, I say, and who are you to come into our home, our court, and disrespect our king in such a manner that that is utterly disrespectful in our own house? I say, if anybody should be punished, it should be you.
She holds herself up, in a noble kind of haughty fashion, and she kind of it's almost as if her stature almost grows somewhat. And she says she kind of actually turns to the crowd, of spectators behind you guys, and she says, "Who am I? Tell this youngling who I am." And as one, you guys hear the crowd of other elves and other people there in unison. They say, they start almost like chanting, "Lamel, Lamel, Lamel." Okay, and she turns back around, and she kind of folds her arms, and says nothing else. Okay, the king at this point, he's standing up, with his arms crossed, and he actually walks down the dais steps towards you, Aristos, and he says, "Rise, Blade Dancer."
I'll I'll rise,
Mm-hmm.
and since I wear my heart on my sleeve,
Mm-hmm.
my my emotions are pretty evident that I don't like what's going on, and I'm not really going to be any part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So as I draw back a little from the king,
Mm-hmm.
it's obvious that I'm not handing over the lore stone.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Okay. He steps towards you, and he actually kind of walks around you, and Wispin, you and Feng can kind of like see the king kind of just like sizing him up, basically, is what it looks like. And he has this really, like interested look on his face. Um, and he comes back to a stop, and he says, "Why do you not trust me, young one?"
It's not that I don't trust you. It's I don't trust her. And it seems that she has undue influence on this court. I don't know if it's the weakness of our own people or some sorcerer's trick. And I'll look at Wispin.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a sorcerer's trick?
I'm just gonna say that out loud.
Feng too. Feng can sniff out
Is it?
the magic. I'll look to my companions. Like,
Is it? I don't know.
There's something going on.
Is there, guys? What do you think?
I don't like it. I'm saying this perfectly loud. I don't like
The
it.
crowd that was chanting Lamel.
It wasn't like they were in a zombified trance. No,
Right.
they basically were, and I didn't specify, but they were basically speaking in like the kind of like the voice of litany,
Okay, yeah.
which is how much of the Elven lore has been kept, So,
And the scrolls of my order, my liege, do not dictate that the lore stone should be brought to a particular king or queen. The knowledge belongs to all of our people.
Okay. And he says, if that's the case, then why not entrust your king, who is the liege of the blade dancers as well, to ensure that what is to be done right is done right.
Because
once again, why do you not? He says, if you do not, he says, why do you think that Lamel has influence over me? Do you not trust me?
My organization, my order, is responsible for the safekeeping and restoration of the trees of knowledge of all of our people. This lore stone is lost knowledge and should be placed back into the tree. My order alone, to my knowledge, knows this process. Are you a member of our order, liege? I do not believe so.
He says, smiles, and he says, no. He says, I am not a member of your order, but your order is also sworn to obey your king and do your king's bidding. Is that not true?
Our first order is to protect the knowledge of our people.
And it will be protected. And if your king, who has done this already, has sent you on a mission.
You sent me on no mission.
He laughs and he says,
what are you talking about? All that I've gotten from this place is derision and hatred of my half elvish blood. You know how many times I was reminded that I am not a true elf, that I'm only a half elf.
A voice rings out, Aristos, no.
Who's that?
And it's your mother. And I'm going to invoke what is it, motherly manipulations.
Mm-hmm.
So you can make a will roll to see if you, or it's up to you. You don't have to. I don't like making you guys do that if you don't want to. But you see, she takes to silence that wagging tongue of yours.
I'll say, and yet another piece comes to the board.
Okay. So, do you? And that's it. That's all you say. You're done.
I'm done as long as I still have the lore stone. Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You still have it. She actually moves forward, and you see that she puts her hands on your shoulder. She's kind of standing behind you.
I'll shrug her off.
Wow. Okay. That's good. Okay. And she looks hurt. You guys can see she's honestly looks hurt, but she kind of regains her composure, and she stands tall with her chin up, and she says, "My liege." She actually gets down on one knee actually, and she says, "My liege." She says, she looks over at Aristos and then back at the king, and she says, "My son is his heart is pure and strong, and he wishes only the best for the survival of our people." And you hear a sneer from Lamel across the throne room. I mean, just obviously, and Nicer, she kind of looks, and kind of frowns at that, and then she looks back and she says, "My liege, he only wants the best for our people, and you must understand that my
I can
son
speak
was.
for myself.
She kind of
Say, I'm no
looks,
puppy.
and
Did you hear
the king
manipulation?
holds his hand up to silence you. What do you do?
Be silent. But get shot through with a 2,000.
Hey, Dave,
Everybody
Fire
hears
is a weakness.
while this exchange is going on, I'm looking like around at the crowd. I'm actually trying to see what the reaction is from the wild elf and the human that's been brought in. With all this stuff that's going on, if they look like
Okay.
like
Okay. First of all, you see your father is like totally ashen looking. His mouth is open. Like not now. And you can imagine him saying, "Not this chance to further our family's name, in the good graces of the king." And look what's happening. It's falling apart.
yeah.
You see that the crowd in general is just like biting their nails, because they cannot believe what they're seeing and hearing.
Mhm.
The wild elf king, he actually has a pretty much he has a look of interest on his face, but you
Wait,
can't
hold
read.
on, David. Is this
Yes.
the guy that we?
Yes,
Okay.
he came back through the gate. Yeah,
Okay.
you just missed that part. Yeah. He has a look of he's of interest on his face, but he doesn't look dismayed. He doesn't look surprised. He doesn't look upset. He's just kind of looking like it looks like he's studying the situation. That's what it looks like. Okay. All right. And then who else, Joe?
The one human that.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yes. You see that he is standing there. Do I have a picture of him? I may have one.
Feng is gonna reach into the satchel to the side and take out like a bit of bread and just.
Okay, all right, here it comes.
I'm not
Munching
concerned.
Okay.
He's
powering up.
Right,
Right,
he's powering up.
Not really one for courtly manners.
It's like when a fight breaks out, let me know.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just
Neither else.
Yeah, none of you guys, pretty much, except for Wispin at the least. No, I guess I thought I had a picture of him, but I don't see it. Okay,
Iaz Ut.
I may have to find it. Okay. Yeah, I don't see it. Okay, all right. Joe, you see him standing there, and he has a smile on his face, like, yeah, I'm ready to see a good fight. That's how he kind of looks like. This is I got the best seat in the house for this, And he sees you looking at him, and he smiles and kind of gives you a grin,
Okay, I kind of like slowly shake my head, like no.
You also see that the king's personal guard seem to be a lot closer than they were initially.
Like closer to us as a whole,
Yes.
or okay.
Yes, closer to you
Oh,
guys.
okay, good to know.
And you see that they have these ornate-looking halberds, and the viceroy, who has kind of stepped back into the side a little bit, has his arm out as if almost like ready to give them the signal to
Get
do their
him.
thing. Yeah.
They're looking
Okay.
at me. I'll just maintain eye contact with whoever looks the toughest and just chew bread.
Okay.
Like look them right in the eye, just like I wouldn't do it.
Okay. 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 All right. Okay. So you see that they're kind of standing there, with their halberds in hand, and they're kind of looking at the viceroy, and looking at you guys, and especially Feng, and then looking back at the viceroy, and they don't look very pleased at this at all. This situation. No one does, except for the human guy.
Of course.
Back there. Yeah. So well, I don't know, where was I? Oh, that's right. Okay, so Aristos' mother was making her plea, basically, is what she's doing. So long story short, she tells the king, and I know I'm jumping back from first to third person to whatever person, sorry, but she implores with him to be patient. I implore you, my king, my liege, to have mercy on my son, for his life with us has not been pleasant. And she says, but with all the strife and all the pain that he has gone through, and she kind of puts, looks at Aristos, kind of almost, like, oh, there he is. He has become a loyal warrior and most proficient blade dancer, one of our best, because she's one as well. And she says she actually pulls her blade off of her back and presents it to the king, and she says, upon my honor, my liege, I swear to you that he will bring no dishonor to you, to our people, or to my family. So the king kind of looks, and he runs his finger along the blade, as he kind of takes a step, and he turns and begins to walk up the dais to his throne, and he says, I will think upon this, and you will have my decision by sunrise tomorrow. And he waves his hand, and then everyone starts filing out. Okay. So Aristos still has the shard, okay? But the other two, the Viceroy has, and you see that when he did this, the Viceroy moved off to like a side chamber, and with the two shards he has, and disappears. Okay, and then that's when the rest of the honor guard kind of move in, and they kind of, all right, everyone, out of here, and everyone starts to disperse.
Like show's over.
Aristos's mother, she gets up, and she sheathes her sword again, and she looks at you, at Aristos, and she says, "My son, I only did this because I love you.
How dare you implore, you duplicitous woman? I don't know what game you're playing, but I've learned more in the few months that I've been with Feng and Royce. I've learned much more about myself than in all of the years I have here. My human blood boils at your manipulations. I don't know what your end game is, but I'm sure that there is one. But I'll tell you this, that king, the Shadow Elf, they will not get this lore stone. The lore belongs to all elves, and it should be returned to the tree that we have here as soon as possible.
She says, you little whelp. She says, if it wasn't for me, you would be cleaning pots in some human caravan somewhere in the east. She says, I'm the one that pushed you to make yourself better than you were. I'm the one that urged your tutors and your trainers to be patient with you because of the human blood that runs within those veins of yours. She says, I am the one who sacrificed many things in order to bring honor to you. She says, yes, me with my contrivances and my plans. But they were all for you in order to better you. And she grabs you by the ear and she yanks on it. and she says, I cannot believe this. She says, how dare you embarrass me in front of all of these people? She says, even though you have the audacity to traipse and take your time around the lands, I am the one who has to be here. I am the one who has to represent our family here while you're gone. I'm the one who has to represent the blade dancers while you are gone. Me.
The king is a fool.
She smacks you. She backhands you and smacks you.
As I land and
she looks horrified.
The humans have taught me to value a person for their own value, not because of their station. This is what I've learned from Feng and Royce.
Okay.
And if he acts worthy of being a liege and worthy of my respect, then he'll get it.
She puts her hand, over her mouth as if she can't believe she struck you, and she kind of looks at her hand, and then she looks at you, and she says, if you ever truly want to understand elven ways and just, and to be one, and she says, one of us, she says, you would understand that our station is everything. And
All right, I'll stand up
Mhm.
before she walks away,
Okay. Mhm.
and I'll go stand over by Fang.
Oh!
I'll say, I am one of us.
She says, okay. Wow.
Put my hand on his shoulder.
You're with and you see like some crumbs, fall on the front of your shoulder down to the ground.
Wait, a second about.
And she looks at that.
Wispin kind of slowly kind of shakes his head a little bit, like, "Yeah, that's messed up," And then,
Yeah.
and he'll say, "Aristotle, it says I do not fully understand your reasoning for dismissing your birth mother in such a way." I said, you may in fact carry half human blood, but you also carry half elven blood as well.
That's right.
Should you not also pay respect for that half of your lineage, that half that has trained you to be the blade dancer that you are?
Right, get him, Joe.
No one is responsible for my position except for me. I'm the one that put the hard work in. I'm the one that had to focus. I'm the one that had to stand the ridicule of you purebloods every single day.
A man's position should be based on merit, not upon the look of his birth.
I'll nod. Yes. I'll say, you don't understand, Wispin. You don't understand it in your ivory towers with your many tutors, etc.
I've spent much time amongst man for that exact reason, to understand. I say you dismiss me as a pureblood and exhibit your prejudice towards me just as the full bloods would deliver prejudice upon you. I said that does not make you any better.
Listen to your condescending tone. Listen, you're just like them.
Friends, we are friends. Enough.
Feng stepping in. What's going on here? Okay.
Well, hold on. Let me get this out of the way. Hang on. And she says, I see. I see what you seem to value more, Aristos. These, your companions, and especially the human side of you more so than the high elven and the Fey blood that runs through your veins. And that's when she walks away.
I'll need some golden pieces.
Right. Okay, go ahead, Lloyd. What were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say we're all pink on the inside, guys.
We all bleed.
If you're a high elf, you're a half elf, or you're human, we have a bond that goes beyond that. We should concentrate on it. It's not important.
Okay. All right. Speaking like Fang, right?
So as Fang says that, I'll kind of point out the people who are kind of milling about, kind of looking at me and my half elvishness and kind of just shaking their heads.
They are. They're scowling and he's doing it. There's Wispin doing that again. That kind of stuff.
Like, could you expect anything less?
That's what your mother looks like. That's what your mother looks like.
She ain't no joke.
She's not. She's a blade dancer. She got to be, Okay.
I'll say that the opinion of these idiots is not important to us. We are.
I say Fang. I'm standing right here, Fang.
I'm not including you in that, Wispin. You've proven yourself to be a capable person.
That's funny.
But these people who are born in this circumstance where everything just works for them, doesn't matter. Their opinion is not important.
They're not getting this lore stone, though. I'll say, Fang, you got to promise me. Wispin, you guys have to promise me that if they try to take it, you'll protect it. The lore stone has to be placed back into the tree so that the knowledge can go to all of the elves, not just the king or the shadow elf woman or whomever is trying to make a political power play.
I stand with you.
My thought is that they're going to try to rape the stone for its power.
Oh, wow.
And pull it out for themselves.
A low laugh. Well, actually, it doesn't have to be a low laugh. Maybe even a higher laugh.
Turn.
and you guys see the shadow elven blade dancer standing there, and he he says,
Oh shit!
spoken like a true. That's like a ceremonial mass that he's with. Spoken like a half-blooded pup.
Okay, I'm gonna like do that to him. Like it's in like try and make him fit in. Just like
Okay, roll your provoke. Actually, no, you can roll your fight
Okay.
versus his will to see if he'll fall for it. And
I don't have fight. I have brawling or melee.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm
Brawling?
thinking. Yeah, yep, brawling. Mm-hmm.
Bam!
Let me know what you get.
Oh,
6.
Oh wow. Okay, all right, okay. He actually does fall back, and he doesn't like run, but he does fall back into a stance. Not a martial. Oh well, a melee stance. And then once he sees the look on your face,
I'll like start laughing, like my hand on my belly, like ha 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 ha.
he relaxes, kind of, And Jim, you can see that it was a true, a blade, a dancer stance, And actually, it was kind of like the moderate stance where he can go one way or the other.
okay.
And he shakes his head.
I'll say to him,
okay, go ahead, Lloyd.
you don't mind. I'll say to him, I have no elven blood, and yet you flinch at my presence.
He says, "I flinch at your stench, barbarian."
What do you want? You're a disgrace to the order if you seek to take the stones for your mistress's own use and not give back to all of the people.
Our people have as much of a right to the stones as you.
And you would have access to the tree and the knowledge that the stone has once it's returned back to the tree.
He wags his finger at you and says, but the pup, his ears are clogged with human wax. He says, did you not hear what my mistress and your king said? There is more, than one tree. He says, the shadow elves have a tree of lore and knowledge as well.
And that is true. We know this.
And hang on, Jim, hang on. And then, Wispin, you don't have it on you. I'm sorry. But you realize that you did take a leaf and a seed from that other tree, remember?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, Jim.
So I do understand that. But that does not change the fact that I and my group retrieved this lore stone. And this lore stone will be transferred into our tree. You have no claim on it.
He says, even though you retrieved the stones, like the good pups you are, that has nothing to do whether or not it is our right to claim them. Our right to claim these shards goes far beyond before when you and I were conceived. Think to your tales of lore. Think how the tribes, the elves, the courts split into 3. And remember how you high elves were the ones who decided that you would be the bearers of all the lore and all the knowledge, even though we, the keepers of secrets, should have rightfully been chosen for that task.
Be that as it may, Royce, my dear friend Royce, has always said that hard work is its own reward. My hard work got this lore stone. My hard work and my group. And the only way that you'll get this stone, and I'll put my hand up on my sword, is through us.
I say perhaps you should go to the king and implore him for one of the stones that he has.
He folds his arms and looks at Wispin. And
I'll
he
be
said, "Huh?
I'll begin the binding ceremony of this lore stone to our great tree here at high moon, and I'll walk away.
Okay. All right." When you walk away, the shadow elf takes another step towards Fang, and he says, "Be careful, human dog." He says, "Remember your place here. We are not in one of your cities. There's nothing but a sea of elven blood around you and blades."
You bore me.
So and I step up to him and I says, "You're absolutely
Uh-oh,
right."
Oh!
And I say, "You're absolutely right." I says, "And I know a great many of them here." And I kind of like look over my shoulder, and uh, one of the elves that I happen to know will like nod in my direction. I kind of look back at him like I
what
said,
aspect do you have that?
I got contacts. I know people. Uh, uh,
Okay.
and my high Elvish guild, I know people.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, what you see is that them standing there. There's a handful of elves back further, almost at the doors that you guys came into, and they are looking over at you guys with very concerned looks on their faces. So you don't get a nod as yeah, we got your back. You get a look like what is going. Oh, that doesn't look good. That's what you get.
Okay, well.
So I
I
mean,
know-
they're
I know
here.
people.
They're here. They haven't left. So obviously they're waiting to make sure you're okay. But they are concerned.
So he
And
stepped
and,
towards
and of
me,
course
right?
there's your father. I'm sorry. What did you say, Lloyd?
He stepped towards me.
He took a step towards you, yeah. So and kind of leaned in to whisper, that to you.
I'll take a step right towards him as well. I want to be like right here,
Nose to nose.
Okay.
right, and just say, "You bore me. Go away."
Okay. All right. He steps back and goes through another side chamber door, and you see in that at the door as it opens up. Hang on here. Let me see. As it opens up, you guys get a glimpse within the chamber, and you guys, man, I'm trying to find the picture. Sorry. You guys see.
I want to make a chicken noise as he walks away.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
He starts to walk, and I'm like, "Buck, buck, buck, buck."
Wow.
And then I kind of like laugh, hand on my belly
Oh
again.
Now you're trying to start a fight here, aren't you?
Hey, he started it, man. He started it.
I know, and you
Oh
trying
my
to
God.
really get it going.
Where are you guys at? Come on. You see. Uh-oh, where did I put it?
Sorry, Mage Hand, I could have done that. Oh, okay.
Huh? Oh,
No, I'm sorry, I'm thinking out loud. Sorry.
see if I have my act together.
Like Feng isn't gonna take any shit from some weirdo in a mask, you know?
That's it.
Some skinny
Right.
weirdo.
Right.
Right. Oh, here it is. Okay. Got too many windows open.
Kicked the head off of Mind Flayer earlier. He's not worried.
Right? What's about what? Me worry? Oh, here it is. Okay, I found it. Okay. Too many windows open. All right. So as he walks through the chamber, you guys see the door kind of opens up, and within there, you guys see a bunch of those guys kind of chilling in there. So he's got
Yeah.
he's got an entourage with him.
After it closes, I kind of look over at Fang, and I'm like, Fang, like, you are a tough SOB, but you need to
And-
really be cautious.
And you guys hear the cackle again. Barbarian! And then the door closes. Goof. Okay. All right. Okay. So what do you guys want to do now? And you guys are still here. Like I said, there's some of your quote-unquote people, Wispin, still waiting back there. And you guys are the last three standing in the empty chamber, or the throne room, actually.
This human that knows about me, I wouldn't mind talking to him, finding him.
Okay.
Concerned about that.
No, now you
Okay.
can start.
Okay.
Okay. Well, he shouldn't be hard to find.
Right, he's like the only human who isn't me.
I know, right? Only two humans here probably right now.
Right.
All right. As we walk towards the exit, I ask some of my people. I said, "Do you know where the other human went? Where is he staying?"
Your father
Oh, I'm
steps
sorry.
up
I'm sorry. I know my father was right there too. I'm sorry. I asked.
and he
I
no, he
bowed to
steps
my
up
father.
and he says what he doesn't know where to start. He's kind of tongue tied right now, and he says what was the meaning of that?
I say, I say, Father. I say, I understand that furthering our station here is all important to you. I said, but um, it will happen in time. I say, this is one of those things that has to be allowed to grow and to develop, and we will prosper as we always do.
Hmm.
I say, my time, spent amongst man has, in fact, given me a different kind of insight, one that I could not have acquired while I was remained here, and that's why I had to leave the enclave in order to venture out on my own and to discover more of the world and to learn more. I say, this is, an unfortunate byproduct of having to go through this.
Oh, my mic wasn't muted.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Sorry, I actually unmuted it to do that. That's terrible. Sorry.
Is that Fang again?
I know, right? That'd be funny.
Yeah, just mid conversation, he's like,
Wasn't no. Okay.
sorry, guys.
That's okay. Okay, and and I, bow to my father, and and that's pretty much all I got to say about that for right now.
He pulls you over to the side, while looking at Fang and Aristos, and
Hmm.
he says, "I understand that your infatuation with the humans and everything." He said, "But son, you must realize they're just human."
Okay, all right.
I
You don't
say,
hear that.
Father.
You don't hear that, Fang.
Okay.
Hey, now, calm down, fans. I'm a dad. Okay, I say yes. I say I'm fully aware of that. And I said, and the um, you know, but just as a child needs guidance, I said I am
Ah.
willing to uh, uh, to help guide them uh, to better themselves as a people. I said not only that, but even a parent can learn from a child's innocence.
Uh, he says he kind of shakes his head and says, I've never understood your infatuation with them. As far as I'm concerned, they merely have a desire to leech as much knowledge as quickly as possible as they can and go about their reckless ways. Um, he says he kind of points his finger at you and he says, "But upon your mother's spirit," excuse me. He says, "The king has requested that you and I and some of our other brethren are the ones that are to be entrusted with the honor of infusing his crown with those shards, and that's what we will do. Is that understood, Wispin?"
Okay, I kind of sigh, and I'm like, okay, Father. Um, I
Yes.
understand that this is what you feel needs to be done. I said, but I said, do you not?
He's turning red.
I said, did you not hear what Aristos said? I said, so. I said, whether you believe it or not, I said he is a blade dancer, and what he
Believe it
said
or not.
does ring true.
Don't insult me for no reason.
What?
I know he doesn't look like one, but
He says, "What does that have to do with it?" He says, "Those blade dancers are nothing more than flowery, militia." He says they know nothing about. He says they know nothing about the arts or anything else. He says, "What does that have to do with anything?" You know how he is and how he was raised and who he is and who his father is.
I said that's completely
Hey.
irrelevant. I say that there is nothing that that says that because the fates conspired to allow that to happen, that he is destined to be looked down upon. I said merely because of something that he had no control over. I said that isn't fair.
My son, why am I having to repeat this to you? He said, you know that the Wispins have much honor upon their shoulders, and the fact that I am the head of the guild here, it means a lot. And you realize that your opportunity to take upon the mantle of leadership once I am gone, once I make the spirit walk, that is at risk here. You understand that, don't you?
So I'm aware of that, Father. I said, and and I intend to maintain that high level of decorum once you have taken that walk. I said, but before that is able to take place, I say I have to remain true to myself.
He says, and so nothing I say matters anymore? You now decide that
of course, what you say matters, Father.
You now decide that the word upon of a half-blooded blade dancer and that human over there, I do not doubt of his bravery and his ability and his prowess. But he knows nothing of our ways. How can you side with them upon something like this? That is our king.
I said, and that is why I have done exactly as I should. I relinquished the stone that was entrusted to me. I says, but each of us was entrusted with a stone, and as such, I said I cannot force upon him to do what I have been destined to do.
And he leans in and says, "But you must talk to him. You can influence him, my son."
I said I severely doubt it. I said he is highly geared towards his human half.
Okay. And he leans in and puts his hands on your shoulders, and looks at you, and he says, "We need the other shard to complete the binding with the crown. We must have it."
Okay, I sigh again, and I say, Father, I say, can I ask you a question?
Of course, son.
I say,
except for that.
I say, for all the time that you've spent here, for all the study and learned knowledge that you've acquired, can you not look into beyond the books, into the heart of a man, into the heart of our king, and ask why does he require the shards for himself and not to relinquish them to the tree to share this knowledge amongst all of our people?
He says, "Oh, go ahead. Sorry."
What could he stand to gain personally from such a power? Stop at that.
Okay. He says, our king, his wisdom is unmatched. That is why he is our king. He says, the fact that perhaps he desires to hold the shards close to himself may mean that he may know that there are some that are untrustworthy amongst us. You must consider that as well. He says we do not necessarily have all of the answers. There are things that our king does not deem to knowledge that he has that he does not deem that he must share with us. He says that is because he has his station and we have ours. He says there is knowledge that you have not shared with your companions. Is that not true?
I said the only knowledge
Is that not true?
I counter with the only knowledge that I have not shared with my companions is knowledge that that they have no interest in, such as the arts.
Then the king may deem that the knowledge that he holds closer to his heart, we would have no interest in, or have not the ability to comprehend it because of our station. Do you understand now?
I say I have much difficulty with that. I say I say power in and of itself can influence anyone to a level of corruption. I say that if the power that is given is shared amongst everyone, I said no one is held everyone is held accountable, not just one. I said if something was to happen to our king, if he was to fall, then he would fall with all the power. Whereas if it was shared amongst us all, we could pool our resources and fight off the coming tide of the what do they call? What do we call them? The mind flare guys.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, yeah. I believe that.
Wait. His grip on your shoulders tightens, and he says, "What do you know about?"
I say in the dream. I say I have confronted them in the dream, Father.
And he says, "Are you sure? Are you certain?"
Okay. I pull my sleeve back and show a scar that I've gotten from the encounter. Okay. And I said this is my proof that I've brought back from the dream.
You guys see Wispin's father grab his wrist almost violently and like yank it towards him so that he can see the scar, and you guys can see it as well, and it's actually black. Okay. And he says, "Why didn't you tell me of this?" And he basically they whisk Wispin away. We're gonna end that conversation there. They basically take you away.
Wispin's got a mind flayer STD.
Right. And so he's gone out of the scene. Okay. So Aristos and Feng are there now. So I haven't forgotten, Lloyd. You said you wanted to find out about the human, but apparently Wispin was not able to. So what is your next? What do you want to try to do next in order to solve that problem or whatever?
Feng, not one for social graces, would just go find someone who looks important and ask.
Okay.
So
right.
Whoever has got like the stupidest clothes on, that's probably who he would ask. He'd like, stupid clothes equate important.
I'll tell Feng that the humans would only be allowed in certain areas in the city anyway, so that could narrow our search down. But come with me to my my house, my family home, so I can get this scroll, because I have to read it in order to remember how to do the binding ceremony. So I'm going to need that. So we'll go over to my house and pick the scroll up so I can reattach this lore stone to the tree before someone assassinates me.
Okay. And you guys see the viceroy glaring at you guys as you guys walk off. And
Oh,
he is,
look at that
he is not happy. Okay? He is not happy at all. Okay.
That's your opponent, Fang.
So yeah, he is not cool with that. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So you guys get to your family home, to Aristos' family home, and okay. And what kind of scroll are you, or what are you looking for?
So now that I'm there,
Yeah.
I'm going to use my lore
Yep.
to create an advantage called Binding Ceremony Scroll.
Okay. Binding ceremony
Scroll
Okay.
of Binding Ceremony, whatever.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Okay. All right. Go ahead. It's just a fair +2 target number, so you shouldn't have a problem doing it. If you want to spend a fate point, you can just do it anyway. You shouldn't have. Go ahead, roll. You can roll.
I get a bonus on lore stuff, so
Okay. Yeah.
I'm really good at it.
Okay.
So let's see. Did it roll?
Yeah. You got a +1.
Okay, so I got a +1 in addition to 3, 5. So
Oh,
I got
wow.
+6.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, you do it with style. So you got 2 invokes on there.
All right, so let me do that. And so I have.
Lloyd, you doing okay?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Okay. Just want to check. Okay. Go ahead, Jim.
Okay. All right, I find what I'm looking for,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll leave before anyone can harass us.
Trust me, if I need to harass you, I'll find you. Where are you guys headed? What do you guys want to do, since Feng wants to find his human?
Well,
You're gonna
this
help
seems more important, and I can wait. Like, if we can find.
Well, if you have the
stone
scroll, what are you gonna do? It's not. He's gonna do it at high moon or full moon or whatever.
Yeah, I have to read it because I don't remember the exact ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wasn't good with the magical ceremonies.
Can
and
you
stuff
do
like
it
that.
alone?
Yeah, it'll just take a long time, and I
Okay.
have to be uninterrupted.
Okay. So since Joe, oh, actually, that was what Joe was doing. So is it the same? Will it take is it something that can be done in an hour? Is it gonna take all night, or
It's gonna take
5
all
minutes?
night. It's from high to, I have to wait for the moon to go down, so
Oh, okay.
it'll go from high moon to the moon going down. So
Okay, gotcha. Okay. All right. Okay.
plenty of time to interrupt me.
Okay.
I'll stand
Okay.
guard.
right. Okay.
Right,
So,
you're on point.
So let's go get a drink.
okay. So you guys, all right.
Is there like a quarter where they would have foreigners, like something like a trading quarter?
A
or
training
something?
quarter, yeah.
Jim, what do you say?
There will be what's called the outsiders quarters.
Okay. The barbarian quarters. Okay. All right.
That's not the Elvish term for it, but that's the translation. So,
Okay.
Different rangers and kind of trade folk
Mhm.
will come and bring certain things that elves like.
So even
from
though,
the human.
okay, so this enclave is known by some, then obviously, then by what you're telling me. Okay. All right. Okay. But they are
They're not well advertised. Yeah.
Okay.
And,
All right.
and not everyone that comes in trying to hawk their wares are
Okay.
coming in.
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
So,
All right.
and this place is outside of the protective
The inner circle.
area. Right.
Okay. All right. Inner enclave. Okay.
So I guess we would find a fancy bar somewhere. I reckon this guy's important if he's coming to look for Feng.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see
So-
here.
Find some kind of fancy bar and ask around. Maybe he's in the bar, but we'll ask around and see if anyone has seen
Okay.
the human. Do we know his name?
No. You guys
We
don't know
don't.
his name.
Okay.
Nope.
It's gonna be hard to find this guy.
Maybe not. I don't think so. Won't be that bad. Trust me.
Have you seen a human?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
you're with him.
so you're right. Yeah, you're with one.
He's right there.
So you guys come into a modest-looking structure, but it is still, by quote-unquote human standards, it's very well kept and immaculately kept. Okay. uh,
So bring
as
us a bottle of Axum plum wine.
and actually it's like a open
Open bar.
open terrace. You know, when you walk in. No, not well. Actually, I don't know. There's almost like it's almost set up like a garden of sorts, you know. So as you walk in, you see that the middle area is wide open to the sky, okay, and there are actually some kind of like what do you call them? What are the Japanese trees that are
Bonsai.
sculpted?
Cherry
Bonsai, yeah, yeah.
bonsai.
The trees almost have a bonsai kind of look to them, you know. And you guys can like smell like some type of food kind of cooking, and you're able to easily find a seat. As you guys walk in, you are there's not really many other humans in here actually at this time. I'll just say for narration's sake that there may be there's one other occupied table, and it looks like there's some type of they're merchants of some sort. They're dressed fairly modest, you know. And then they have the wide brimmed, kind of like axamite style cap to like keep or headgear to keep the sun off their faces, you know.
Yeah.
And that's how you guys can kind of recognize them kind of immediately as being merchants, because that's what they typically wear. You know, it's almost like a Spanish, well, almost, but it's more like the flat topped, kind of like more Spanish cowboy hat, you know, and the brim is like super wide, you know, and then we'll say it does have the strap underneath that you can cinch up, you know, to keep the the hat from blowing off. And they see you guys kind of walk in, and they immediately begin to whisper amongst themselves, and they kind of give you guys, or they give Feng a nod, you know, of a well met, as you guys come in, and as you guys find an unoccupied table, which you can, you see that a light-footed high elf comes over, and that's who asks what you two will be having, and that's who you tell the axamite plum wine, the plum wine, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, okay.
He nods. Two bottles.
Okay, he nods. Okay, and he leaves to go get it. As he's gone, you see a young elven female, kind of like who looks to be in her teens, maybe. She actually comes in looking 300. Right, looking to and fro. And as she sees Feng, she moves over towards you guys. Okay. And as she comes, you know, within arm's length, she stops, and then she kind of looks at Aristos.
Say, what is it, girl?
Okay. So she's been given permission to speak. So she says, "I've been sent by Sarah Wispin.
And
he was looking for you, and he told me that once I found your location, to tell you to remain here so that I can go fetch him."
Say, very well. Do you know of a human that's been granted access to the inner enclave?
She kind of looks around and she nods.
What's his name?
She shrugs and she says, I know not what he is called, but I know where he is.
Where?
Okay. She says that he is actually in he has a quarters nearby the Shadow Elves, near the Winter's Court.
Figures.
Questionable.
She says, do you wish to give him a message?
Yes.
She looks at Fang like, huh, you, what? And then she looks back at Aristos. Like,
I'll try. What?
Okay, all right. So she looks at you, Fang. She goes, yes.
Tell him that if he's looking for Feng, you can find him in this bar.
She leans in and then covers her nose.
I'll produce a couple of coins.
Okay.
A couple of Axamite coins.
Okay. she kind of turns her nose up. She takes them and she kind of shrugs. Okay. And she. What did you say? We're going, Fang.
Yeah, if he's looking for Feng, you can find me here.
Okay. All right. Okay. And she
Tell him
bows.
to come quickly. I'm not patient.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Okay. And she kind of hesitates, and then she looks at you guys and kind of gives you a quick, curtsy or bow, and then she runs off.
I don't
Okay.
understand this scroll. I don't understand this stuff.
Okay.
On this scroll, I'm kind of going through. What's that word? You know what that word is?
Okay.
Feng's like, I can't read.
So Fang is about through with his decanter of plum wine, and Aristos is about halfway, and we're still getting, he's still shaking his head, scratching his head, kind of shaking like, I don't. And then Wispin walks in with his arm in a sling.
So this thing is in a sling.
Yep. And Joe, Wispin has the mild consequence
Okay.
of
Ass in a sling.
no arm in a sling.
Recently.
Ooh.
Okay.
Are you all right, Wispin?
I say yes. I say it's just my father is just taking
Precautionary.
extra precautions.
There you go. Yep.
By breaking your arm? What?
I said
Not a cast, a sling.
I said our time in the dream. I said it was an injury that I got there. Sometimes for us, for full bloods, the wounds that we receive there carry into the real world. I said, as fortunate for you guys. Fortunately
What'd
for
you
you,
say?
you might not.
You say something? Yeah, you still? I'll say sit down and get some more wine.
Full of blood. Shake my head and drain the end of the bottle.
I say this ceremony looks like it'll take about 6 hours.
Okay, I kind of peer over at it and say, well, say yes. I say you do know how to, the proper somatic movements that are necessary for this to work, correct?
I'll say you know of blade dancer binding ceremonies.
I said I know of the mystic arts. I said this is not too dissimilar from many of the somatic and other components that we use. So just by looking at it, so I'm not an expert by any means, but I mean as far as for this specific set, but doesn't seem too difficult to translate. So do you need my assistance in helping you to decipher it fully?
No, my half elvish brain can wrap itself around it pretty good. Thank you.
I said, okay. And I sit back.
All right, I'll roll it up, put it in my belt. Hey, what the? What is that?
Oh dear.
And why are you muted?
Yes, Dave.
Sorry
Why are you
about that.
muted?
Just as you roll it up, a figure walks in, okay, and walks because everyone knows where you all are, obviously, and I know where you are, and
Yeah.
walks over to the table, and she says, this is where I was told where the three of you were.
Who are
May I
you?
sit?" She kind of hesitates, and
What
then
are
she kind of turns her head to the side and goes, and she says, I'm sorry you don't recognize my form. She says, I've been changed. My essence has been changed by my time spent in the Emerald, in the dream world. She says, surely, Aristos, you recognize me. I fought at your side in my king's throne room. And then you kind of recognize her, and it's one of the wild elf warrior women.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Hey, no hard feelings, huh?
She says, "Of course not," and she gestures towards the chair again and says,
Okay, be seated.
"Okay, all right." So she sits down.
I pulled the seat out for her.
Okay,
I'm
all
not
right.
going to be rude.
Wow.
Okay, all right. She
All right,
she
I'll
nods.
motion for a couple more bottles of wine.
Your money's that Axomite money is no good here. Okay, all right. Okay. So she sits and she says, "As I'm sure you, all of you saw, my king was present earlier in the throne room.
And he was oddly isolated. He didn't seem to choose a side.
She says, being that she kind of smiles and she says, but he has chosen a side, and you may be surprised to know what that is. For he and your companion Royce have had words since being here."
What side is it?
She says, initially, he was under the impression that the shards would be best served being introduced once again to the tree of lore that is here. But as I keep forgetting her name, Lamel has stated, perhaps for safety's sake, the shard should be split. For if they all remain in one spot, can they not be easily taken?
I'll say that's silly. These aren't the only stones that there are.
This place seems heavily protected. I wouldn't say easy.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the leaders of our respective houses are out for themselves.
She says, but listen to what else I have to say. As my king spoke to your companion Royce, he was under the impression that perhaps it was a bad idea to even bring the shards here at all in the first place. Perhaps he should have kept them in his possession, and maybe he and his companion should have taken them somewhere else.
Royce is wise.
As I said, you may be surprised at at the words that I speak. Do not assume that my king agrees with yours. Why is that?
I said, because you know, I understand, Royce is in fact a wise companion. However, he knows little of the ways of magic in the sense of the knowledge of the lore stones themselves. It's hard to say that even Royce and his uh, well of wisdom
Mm-hmm.
would know what to do uh, with something he knows little about.
Royce knows people, and he knows when people are not well intended. And I'm sure that if we can pull him out of the temple, that he would see that those around us are not well intended. I would even bet that he has portents of what's going to happen from his sun goddess.
Joe?
I said, perhaps. I said, but nonetheless, I say,
What's your name, woman?
Alian.
And what is your intent? Is your intent to take the stone from us, or attempt to?
She says, "I am here at the bequest, I believe, of my king, and he just wanted." Yes, thank you, Floyd. He is here. I am here at the behest of my king, and I only am here to give you some insight into his thoughts, for he considers you to be allies of his.
And would it not? But
Surprised by that he considers us allies.
well, Feng, think about it this way: we did save him and his people and his daughter.
Sure did.
So the favors are building in the wild elf camp for us.
Yep.
Okay. Well, as long as you take no aggressive action toward us
Mm-hmm.
or try to take the stone from us,
Mm-hmm.
we have no I have no ill will towards you.
She says, just so you know, your companion has agreed to aid some of our people who were injured while we traveled through the dream, the dream world.
Mhm.
For we still encountered some more of the gift.
And this is why the lore stones need to be returned to the trees so that we are able to defend ourselves against the illithids when they come. And they will come. If anything, by being in the green, taught us that they have lessers, the Gith, as foot soldiers who are very active. They know where we are even now, I'm sure.
Okay. Okay, well, she nods and she says, even though apparently here, amongst other places, your reputation as a half-blood precedes you, I consider you to be a worthy ally. And she kind of nods and she stands up to walk away. Unless anyone has anything else to ask her or say.
You don't have to leave.
She says, my duty is by my king's side. She says, but perhaps this is not the last time we have met. We will meet, rather. Blade dancer.
I'll get up and give her the warrior's hand clasp.
Okay. Okay.
I give up and give her the
The Wispin wiggle.
Wispin wiggle. The Wispin wiggle.
Starts twerking.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll flash a bow.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay. All
Oh.
right. I am honored. Feng.
She
Okay.
seems to be on the level.
Okay. All
I
right.
kind of turn to Aristos and I kind of quizzically kind of look at him and I ask. I say, now that I'm thinking on it, I say, why did you not say something
Get up, Joe. Get up.
when I was presenting my stone to the king, or when Feng presented his stone to the king? You only decided to hold your stone back. I say, if you really believe that the stones are meant to go towards a tree, I said, why did you not say something then?
Because the situation got the better of me. It's been a long time since I've been home and seeing my stepfather and my mother and those that I trained with and people who ridiculed me. I really didn't know what was happening until the king called my name.
Okay, I kind of sigh and I say, I said, this is one of the things that I think you need to work on, young one. I said, one of the things about being your elven blood is to maintain focus. I say you cannot allow your human half to take full control over you. I say, if we would be in a much better situation if you were more astute to the situation at hand. So as it stands now, says the king is in possession of two of the stones that, in truth, we should return to the tree. I said, unfortunately, fortunately for us though, I says he actually would need all three stones to infuse into the crown.
What?
I say yes.
Yes.
I say he cannot do anything with merely two.
Infuse into what? What do you mean infuse into the ground?
Okay, I kind of look around and I say, this is not the place to speak of it.
You just brought it up.
I said, I know. I said we should go somewhere more private.
So you're telling me
I say, follow me.
you're telling
Follow
me
me.
that the
So
king
then I get
plans
up
to
and
infuse the lore stones into a crown?
I start walking
Where are
away.
you going?
We're
To
waiting for someone.
my chambers.
Okay, well, what do you guys do? You
You
guys
got
follow?
chambers here?
Not in
In town?
not in this area, but in a much richier area. I'm gonna stay in this area. I mean, crazy.
There's nobody here.
I'm curious to see about this dude, and he's
We're
gonna
like
meet
in
me
like
here,
a
apparently.
bar, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's only two other human
Yeah,
guys here.
no, I'm not trying to talk about it here. I'm out here.
I'll say I'm waiting for someone to contact me. Someone knows about me, and I'm curious to see what it is. I
Yeah,
told
we have to stay here. We're waiting
you I would
on
meet them.
somebody to get here.
Okay.
So you're telling me that the king is trying to appropriate the lore stones to fuse into a crown.
Okay. I take a sip of my drink
Wispin.
and I don't say anything. I say now is the time for you Aristos to know when to not speak.
What? What, Fang? What? Am I missing something?
I'm equally confused, Arisus. But it seems like this is a matter of importance and can't be spoken about publicly. So I guess we'll have to.
There's no one here. There are two guys over there in the corner.
All right, as Aristos' voice is rising with his irritation, the two merchants they quickly get up and they leave. They walk out.
Okay, now.
Okay. Okay. With that, then I say yes. I say that the king believes. I said the king believes that the lore stones are best utilized under his wisdom to better defend our people. I said that is one of the things that I was discussing with my father, and in disagreement over the means upon which he intends to utilize it. I said, but like I was starting to say before, is that he actually would require all three to make that happen.
So this looks fairly obvious to me that the Shadow Elf woman allows the king to get all three lore stones. What happens when someone takes the crown? They take the power of the lore stones with them as well, correct?
So yes.
So then it could belong to anyone, even the Illithids, even the Gith. Anyone who gets the crown would have that power, which reinforces what I'm saying about rebinding this lore stone to the high elvish great tree.
I said, in that regard, I am in full agreement with you, Aristos. I said that was one of the like I said that was one of the arguments that I had with my father, is that he.
So why don't we just go get the other two stones back?
Because he's still the king. I said without all three, I said the two mean nothing. I said if you infuse the one stone into the tree, I said he'll have no choice but to relinquish the other two to the tree for they'll have no value for him at all.
I think we should try to get all three.
I said
and infuse them all into the tree.
I said I highly disagree.
You guys hear a huff behind, or rather near the door.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a figure standing there.
Look up.
The human?
Nah.
What? Oh shit.
Okay. A clawed hand points towards Feng,
Do I recognize him?
and you hear in your mind, this way.
Okay, he's clearly some kind of monk. Do I recognize him?
What did you say? What
Do
did
I
you say?
recognize him at all?
You recognize that by his attire and especially the staff he has in his hand,
Mhm.
that he is from your monastery.
Okay, I'll stand up and I'll do one of these.
He
Mm-hmm.
is in true bear form.
Right, and I'll say, I'll be right back.
Will you? Will you?
And I'll walk over to this bear man.
Okay. All right. He turns.
Hey,
and
just scream loudly if you need help.
right.
Yeah.
He bows, down or kneels down and walks through the door because he's massive. He's got to be about maybe at least good 8 feet, and you can just like feel the power just kind of emanating, as he lumbers out, Well, yeah, I mean he's big, so he does lumber, but you can tell by looking at him because you're automatically sizing him up because that's just your way.
Mhm.
He's aware of every step, and
Yeah.
you can kind of see his ears. They're kind of flickering back and forth, kind of, he's listening at all angles, and he walks out and he just, he fills up the doorway as he leaves, and you guys kind of just see Fang just, without much hesitation, go right outside with him. Okay. As you come out into I guess to call it a street, or the courtyard, so to speak, you also see a few other figures there as well. Okay. You see this figure standing there.
Okay.
Okay. And he
Yep.
gives you the monk sign. The bread. Yeah, he gives it to you. And then you also
Who let these
see
people in?
standing next to him, you see the human standing
Oh, man.
there. Okay.
He doesn't look like a monk.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And he kind of turns to you, or he does turn to you, and with a knowing grin on his face, he says, "You wanted to see me, monk? Then see me."
Did I? I heard that you knew of me, and I was curious about that.
He says,
You have me at a disadvantage. I don't know who you are.
he says, let me get it right here. He says, I am Iaz Ut. He says, you don't recognize the name?
Do I? I don't think so.
He says, have the years dulled your wit? He says, have you forgotten your brethren at the monastery so soon?
I've done my best.
He says, do you not remember the young monk whose back you practically broke during one of your displays of your power?
I do remember.
And then he stiffly bows to you.
Right. I'll return it.
Okay.
I'm looking around at these anthropomorphic animals. I'm thinking like they're probably better at bear style than I am.
He says I have walked in your footsteps for many, many suns and many, many moons. He says there are those who have much interest in the fate of Feng. says, whether you know it or not, he says the gods watch upon you.
This is news to me, Iaz. I did not
He
know.
he says, Iaz Ut.
Apologies, Iaz Ut. Well, you seem to have done well for yourself.
He says, since that fateful day when my spine was cracked like a tree limb, I had to find other ways to make my place in this world. He says, no more would I be able to embrace the power of the chi, of the inner self, for my connection was severed. My silver cord was snapped, was broken. Thanks to you.
That was not my intent.
And he bows again.
You have to kill him, Fey. Don't let him come back. You always have to kill people so that they don't come back 20 years later more powerful.
He says, I owe my current status and knowledge to you. He says, because I was no longer able to be of service to the monastery, I was cast out, dishonored.
Well, then I think I have done you a good service.
He raises his hand, no. He says, you honored me in your own way. He says, I had to learn how to focus my inner abilities in different ways, and I learned the arcane arts.
Impressive.
He says, with these arts, I turned and pledged my allegiance to a new master.
And who might
My new master taught me ways so that I was able to heal my body and grow strong once again.
Well, I'm glad. Your determination is definitely admirable. What can I do for you?
He puts his hand up again. Please allow me to continue.
Go ahead.
He says, being that my new master, being that I am at the how do I want to say it? Wow, I can't even really think of what I want to say. My master has his needs, as do I, and he said that my master has interests in the goings on that are happening here in this Elven enclave right now. My master has interest in the Lore Stones and the Shards.
Right. Definitely kind of some muscles tense up, and I'm worried now because that's not good news.
Okay.
Who is this master you speak of?
He smiles and says his name is not of import. He says all you need to know is that you and your companions should relinquish the last shard to your king. He says many lives and much death, pain, and agony will be spared if it is done. If not, and he shakes his head.
Speak plainly. Your riddles are no good to me. I left the monastery for a reason.
He says, he says, your skull is as thick as the heel of my boots, which it will meet if you do not listen closer.
I learned that there's no need to use a big word when a small one will do.
He says,
defying your language is no good. It makes no difference. Say what you mean.
He says, convince the half-breed to relinquish the shard.
Stop right there, Iaz Ut. Half-breed has a name. He is my friend Aristos, and I won't have you slander him.
Okay.
Yeah, boy!
He gives a half bow, and he says, my apologies. He says,
See, Wispin wouldn't have said that.
Aristos.
Okay.
He says, the blade dancer. He says, convince him to hand over the shard to his king. Relinquish it. and
But
all
why?
will be well.
Who do you serve? What interest do you have in this? How do I know you're not a representative from the king trying to get the lore stone?
He holds his hand up again.
It's starting to annoy me.
he says, all you need to know, once again, and for the last time, is that you need to convince him to hand over the stone. If you do not do this, he kind of nods to either side of him, and you see the bear man kind of bristles, kind of puffs his chest out, and you kind of hear his grip on his staff kind of like tighten, like. And then he nods towards the monkey to his right, and the dude like goes into his one-legged one-legged stance, and I mean he hasn't moved yet, he's been in that position all this time, he says, my master also is willing to make another concession, one that sees you tied like a goose in the courtyard of your monastery to be judged by your master. Once
He's
again,
not my master anymore.
yeah. Oh, and you see the bear and the monkey, they twitch at that.
I left that monastery for a very good reason.
Perhaps you were not worthy to serve there, as I was not worthy.
Perhaps I had a conscience.
Okay. All right. He says, fair enough. You will have until high moon to convince the whelp of this. And he bows. And then he turns and walks. And then the other two kind of give you the and then they turn and leave.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'll walk back inside.
Okay. So you see, there's two more decanters of plum wine there.
I'll go and take
another
a bottle
loaf of lamnis bread.
I'll take a bottle and like drain it before I talk.
At least
all the way down.
It's just-
There's like a full minute of just like.
Okay.
Down. We have a problem.
At least you didn't get your ass kicked.
Right. Yeah, we have a serious problem. Someone from my past, accompanied by what can only be masters of the animal styles, has come to me with a conundrum about the lore stones. They have demanded that we give them to the king, or else a great misfortune will befall the world, seemingly. I tried to get more information, but it was not forthcoming.
That makes little to no sense. I said there's no benefit that they could possibly gain from such a thing.
That's not
The-
true.
Not one that's obviously easily.
Wispin knows everything. What are you talking about?
The man that I spoke with, he claimed to serve a mysterious master, but would not tell me who that master was or what that master was. And I'm concerned that it's a ploy either by the king or by this master who could have some sort of dark power to get this going. The man that I spoke to did not look like a kind individual.
Okay, so there's the king. There's the shadow elf woman. She's not the queen, is she?
No, she's a high-ranking
no.
Ambassador or something.
ambassador. Yes. Yeah. So she's representing. Since you said it, yeah, we'll say that they do have a queen indeed. Okay. She's representing the queen.
And then the wild elf, is he the king? Or he's the elder.
Yes. He is their king because, there is no other to represent them. So he is their king.
And now there's a fourth person.
But yes, that is a good point. When you guys initially met him and helped him, he was considered to be the elder.
Mhm.
And now he is being represented as their king. So, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh,
The
so,
difficulty I'm facing here is that this person I just spoke to might be an agent of the king himself.
or the ambassador, or even the Wild Oak. We don't know who this
Well,
new faction, if it's a new faction unto itself, or if it's under one of the other three.
his agenda was to give the stones to the king, and that seems to be the king's main motive. So that's why I think he's probably tied to the king and not to the Shadow Elves. Then again, he looked pretty dodgy, so that's a pretty strong tie to the Shadow Elves right there. But
The
he
king
had
is an idiot.
two high ranking monks with him from the monastery.
So I highly doubt that our king would employ um, humans to try to influence our decision through you, Fang. So I sense something
Yeah.
more nefarious than what we see right in front of us.
They made some pretty overt threats towards me. I'm not
Well,
worried. I'm not.
I mean, why didn't they just come in here and take the stone themselves
It's a good question.
right now?
Maybe they wanted to avoid violence if possible, but
They didn't
Why,
look like
why should they jump even a half breed in his own blade dancer in his own joint?
So I believe it does have something to do with the three being joined. They obviously want the ceremony to be fulfilled.
They're not getting the stone. my resolve is increasing just based on the amount of people who are trying to get it.
yeah.
It can do no good in anyone's hands, and I'll have to bind it. But
Just
Hmm.
to think, perhaps the king, and I'm just spitballing here, perhaps the king knows something that we do not, and he needs this power to defeat some great evil. It's a possibility that we can't ignore.
That's right.
but why wouldn't he come out and say that?
Well,
He doesn't
maybe
owe you any explanations.
there are spies within his court. Maybe there are. I mean, if
Yes.
it's about the mind flayers and stuff, maybe they can have control over people without anyone even knowing it.
Why couldn't they
Yes.
have control over him?
They could as well, but he seems like a pretty powerful individual. It's certainly not impossible, but it's definitely worth considering that he's doing this out of a sense of justice and a sense of rightness. We can't discount that. He's not been a bad guy before, as far as I know. I don't know much about elf lore, but I'm sure he's well regarded and king for a reason.
That's what Wispin said. Yeah, of course.
My stepfather is an elf of consequence, and while he doesn't look down on me because I don't share any of his blood, he may be able to get us an audience with the king to where we can air our grievances and judge his reaction.
Yeah.
Ah,
I think
okay.
an audience with the king without that wormy vizier there would be good.
What are the chances of that happening? Okay, all right, okay, all right.
or perhaps Wispin's father.
Oh,
Yeah.
what are the chances of that happening? Ah.
But I think there are more things at work here than we know, and there are many missing pieces in this game of chess that we need to consider. We can't just blindly make a decision that may endanger everybody.
All right.
I stand
I'm
with you,
going-
Aristos, and I will support you, but I think we need more information before we make that decision.
Okay. I'm going to give Wispin the Lore Stone
Dun dun dun. Okay.
because
Okay.
I believe that you would be mystically able to protect it should the need arise, whether it's mundane or magical attack.
Mhm.
If it's a mundane attack or magical attack on me, I'll be less able to protect it. So I need you to hold on to it until we make our decision on what to do with it, and then get it back to me if I need to commit it to the binding ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Can I get a fake point for setting myself up for failure?
Hey.
What's that supposed to be?
Right, exactly.
Because I know you're a two-faced bastard.
You don't
Two-faced
know that.
bastard.
Hey, I stuck by you and everything, so I want to hear it. Anyway,
Yeah, so I think we need to try and speak with the king if possible. And maybe if we are honest with him, he will be honest with us, and he will let something slip for good or ill to tell us what his intentions are. If he needs the crown for the purpose of protecting everyone, then that's a noble goal and we can assist him with that. But if he wants it for selfish reasons, then he's not getting it.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. All right. So we're gonna end it there then, because that's a good spot to end it. And I'm gonna leave you guys with this. As you guys are kind of mulling, over this, and basically coming to the decision that you guys are gonna pursue an audience with the king, by possibly either using a contact of Aristos's or Wispin's, father, possibly. That's what you guys are trying to figure out. And Wispin now has the shard. We come upon a picture or a shot or a scene, I would guess to say, of what did I do with it? Of Iaz Ut, and you see that he is in a shadowy chamber of some sort, and you see the two monks are standing outside the door to the chamber, guarding the door, and you see that Iaz is within a protective circle, an arcane circle, okay? And you see that there is a decanter or a bowl, or an ornate-looking bowl in front of him, and the bowl appears to be full of some deep, dark-looking liquid, and you see that he has just taken his hands out of this bowl as if to wash his hands, and you see his hands are covered and dripping in this liquid, which actually looks to be blood. Okay. And he looks up and he says, "I have done as you have bid me to do, master." What is your next bidding? And you guys hear a voice that sounds almost like rolling thunder, and looming above him, as if it was in the same chamber, which it may actually be. You guys see this figure standing there. Yeah, and the figure says, "My servant, do not fail me in this endeavor, for if you do, once again, the frayed silver cord of your soul will be broken, and you will see damnation once again." And then we're gonna end it. We're gonna end it there. Yeah, we'll end it there.
Damn.
Okay. All right.
All
You
right.
got somebody to hit in the face.
Yep.
repeatedly.
You got a few somebodies to hit in the face repeatedly.
Yeah, I ain't
Okay.
getting me, baby. Leave me alone.
Right. Okay.
All
right,
so
so-
sense up in here.
Right. Yeah. So okay. Yeah. So
The one time our rapport guy isn't here, right?
right. So the next session, you guys will have your audience with the king,
I got some rapport.
and
Got it.
and then you guys have to decide after that audience what's your next what's your next action, whether to have Aristos go on with whether Aristos is going to go forth with his thing, whether Wispin is going to go forth with his thing, right? Those are really the two different paths, or you guys might just leave with the last shard. I don't know. So those are the things we have to decide on the next session, and in a nutshell. And then that's it. But the first thing is going to be the audience with the king.
Okay.
Okay, and then hopefully we can have DBJ here, and he can help you all out with the audience with the king, which will be good. And then we can go from there.
All right.
All right. Okay.
That's good.
All right.
Okay. All right. Cool, guys. All right. Thanks again, and appreciate it. And everybody have a good evening. Unless you guys want to stay on after I cut this thing and chat about something, but I'll end the broadcast right now. So thanks again.